got some real power there, Emma. More than just a pretty face.
Ew! Are you flirting with me about my farts?
Yes, I am.
Hey folks, how's it going? Today, I want to talk about the weird world of Canadian cartoons. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Now, chances are, you've probably been raised on them without even realizing it. Like some kind of maple-flavored psyop. Personally, I remember Canadian cartoons showing up in the late 2000s, and they just took over Cartoon Network for a while. Total Drama, 16, and yes, Johnny Test. So many whip cracks.
I dare you! You are not 100 sprayed of your bear.
You're not.
Episode 10.
The very best things fabric.
Frozen on. Tested frozen.
But as far as Canadian cartoons go, their long-term influence on modern animation is undeniable. Sometimes for better, and sometimes for the worse.
Not just a blow dryer, Gina, but a revolutionary new way to suck and blow at the same time.
I'm not touching that one.
So in this video, we're gonna check out the weird world of Canadian cartoons. How they're made, the standouts, the duds, and why these cartoons are just, in general, kind of weird. Obviously, not every Canadian cartoon ventures into farts and sex jokes, but it happens a lot more than you'd think. At this point, I kind of wonder if Terrence and Phillip from South Park was actually a documentary in disguise.
Uh-oh.
But before we start, two quick things I want to say. Kind of a little announcement for the channel. First off, I got some big changes coming soon. Guess what? I have a new animated avatar, and I really like him. I know it's a bit different from the usual, but this change really motivates me to get back to making bigger and better videos, so I'm all for it. The animated assets should hopefully be showing up in videos next month, so stay tuned. Also, a lot of the big videos that were supposed to come out last year, and truthfully the year before that, will start dropping soon. There's a lot of What Ruined videos in the pipeline. Plus that Land Before Time video, and yes, I will finish the Caleb Sophia Jehovah's Witnesses video too, I promise. That will see the light of day, I swear on my life. A good chunk of my projects have been stuck in limbo, but they're making progress. Truthfully, I've been kind of in a weird funk as of late, and I did not want to release those higher quality videos until I felt good about them. But I'm back on my feet again, so expect some hopefully fun videos in the very near future. Again, thank you so much for being patient and for the support. It means the world to me and my team, and we always want to be worthy of your viewership. Also, this video is brought to you by our sponsor who helps to pay our team's rent, Vessie. Guys, I live in the South. The dirty South. I don't ever expect to get snow here, but recently we did. We had actual snow on the ground, and everyone went crazy. I could have broken out my boots, but fortunately I didn't need to, because I got my Vessie Storm Tops, baby. These stylish shoes not only look great with any fit that I have, but they are functional as all get out. Dymatex technology keeps these stompers 100% dry all day, so the sudden slush won't be getting into my socks. Rain or shine, these shoes exude design. A neutral and stylish unisex design keeps these shoes fitting any type of garb that you may have. My looks are important to me, but I also care about functionality, and these shoes do not drop one for the other. A rugged grip navigates all types of terrain, and a supportive heel with removable sole support all-day comfort. Heck, they can replace 3 pairs of shoes. No more soggy second pairs. And for all you Northeasterners, if you get a little salt on those shoes, they are extremely easy to clean. No washing machine needed. Just give them a good old watering and they'll clean up super easy. Comfort, style, and functionality is all part of the Vessie philosophy, even during the most extreme weather patterns. My Vessies are the shoes I choose by my door. They suit every special occasion and fit right into my daily routine. I wear them every day to walk my dogs, no kidding, and to the gym. It is a smart upgrade to make when considering some new kicks, and you can get a pair right now with their awesome offer. So scan my QR code on the screen or head on over to Vessie.com/Saberspark to enjoy 15% off your first order. You'll get free shipping on orders over $110 in North America, a worry-free 30-day return exchange window, and a 1-year warranty on all shoes. So keep your style dry during these unpredictable winter months. And hit up Vessie.com to upgrade yours or a friend's shoes today. Thank you again to Vessie for sponsoring this video. And now, back to the video.
Please, a squirt gun?
What? Yeah, a Canadian squirt gun. Canadians are weird.
Before anything else, let's talk about how these cartoons are made to begin with. Between TV, movies, and animation, our neighbor to the north has consistently had one of the most thriving media production industries in the entire world. And much of this is due to grants and funding programs set up by the Canadian government to produce new series and films. Gosh, that sounds nice. I wish my government would give me grants to make stuff, but nope. We're paying for new tanks instead. Hooray. Like, you can even see which shows receive federal funding by watching through the end credits. And as a concept, this seems like a win-win, right? Sure. But that clearly does not mean every show with government funding is going to be well made. Sometimes it's a matter of quantity over quality. And it's exceptionally rare to find a Canadian-produced animated show that stands the test of time. Like, I'm not trying to throw shade, but a majority of these cartoons kind of suck. A show as weird as Almost Naked Animals received government funding. Like, take a moment and let that sink in. Your tax dollars paid for this, Canadians.
Trick my feet.
Take yucky expired food and like it.
And that is what I am talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're working with here. For contrast, the Canadian shows that tend to make a long-term impact in the US combine strong storytelling with unique production values. Solid performers like Arthur, Paw Patrol, Total Drama Island, 16, and of course, Ed, Edd n Eddy. Yeah, did you get their skins in Fortnite? And I'm serious, by the way. It's a Canadian show. I always thought it was American, but no, it's full-blown Canadian. I think even Ed was like, Canadians are weird. I can't do the voice. And get this too, My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, that's Canadian as well. It was made by like DHX in Vancouver, and a majority of the voice cast are Canadians, unfortunately. I'm joking. I know some of them as friends, so I can say that. Like, the show was like produced and set up in America, but a lot of the production and the animation was up in Canada. How about that? It seems that part of the drive for this aggressive creation of Canadian productions came directly from the Broadcasting Act. Passed in 1991, this law required telecommunication companies to produce and broadcast at least half of their programming with original Canadian content. Or CanCon for short. Not Can-Can, not the dance, and not CanCon the convention, CanCon the Canadian content. Enforced by the CRTC, the overall intention behind this was to preserve and highlight their culture through mass media. Kind of like similar to Bluey with Australia. And as much as I harp on the mixed quality of this variety of Canadian animation, I have to give them credit for one thing. They took risks. Some of these shows were so specific that they realistically wouldn't last long for multiple seasons. Tarzan, remember the Canadian Tarzan cartoon?
Why does everything here hate me so much?
Again, everything was on the table to a bizarre degree, but that did not stop the Canadian government from giving them a chance and the grant money they needed to make something new. And I'll take that over US companies always taking the coward's way out, which is greenlighting tons of IP-driven reboots instead of giving new creators an opportunity to succeed. Our priorities here are so messed up that PBS can't even get consistent funding, and Sesame Street was evicted from HBO Max onto Netflix. What are we doing here? It's Sesame Street. It should be the thing of legend. Why are we kicking them around? I hate that here in the States, it always boils down to money. But hey, that's capitalism. Hooray! Woo, I love the world as it is right now. Everything's great. Oop, that was a gunshot. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. It's so funny that, like, in America, when it comes to American cartoons, you can do the guns, you can do the violence, that's fine. But if it's anything that's borderline sexual, stop. Full stop. Just don't. Europeans and Canadians can get weird with it, but not Americans. But when it comes to guns, Canadians and Europeans are like, let's not do that. It's a weird, bizarre world where one side is one persuasion, while the other side is the other persuasion. Just that's culture for ya. One of the creative pushes behind this TV gold rush was the widespread use of digital animation programs like Adobe Flash and Toon Boom. Many original productions could be made in Canada on a smaller budget, rather than being outsourced overseas. At their peak during the 2010s, the biggest animation studios in Canada were actively producing dozens of unique TV shows for local and international markets. Again, My Little Pony G4 was made in Canada, and that was a big deal at the time. Teletoon is one of the biggest animation channels based in Canada. They've been around since 1997, with a pretty unique history as far as studios go. Much of their production budgeting was spent creating original programming, dubbed in both English and French. Ew, France, gross, right? That's what Americans are supposed to say. And chances are, if you grew up watching Cartoon Network between the late 90s or mid-2010s, you're probably familiar with most of them. Again, Canadian shows briefly made up most of the new offerings being featured on Cartoon Network during that time, or at least during the late 2000s. I mean, it was either watching the Canadian cartoons like Johnny Test or watching CN Real, so yeah, pick your poison. Some of the highlights include Bakugan, Total Drama Island, and 16, while some of the duds include Rocket Monkeys. Please shoot these characters directly into the sun. There's no signs of intelligent life here, and we definitely cannot risk them procreating, so in the rocket, into the sun, goodbye.
Only one team of heroes can save it today. Spoiler alert! It's definitely not these two fairbags.
But by far, one of the biggest offenders from this era was Johnny Test. Yeah, I see you trying to copy Dexter's Lab. This show was so annoying and derivative that people only recall it now for having choppy animation and a ridiculous overuse of loud, attention-grabbing sound effects. This same practice carries over into the worst shorts on TikTok, and I'm completely fine with blaming Johnny Test for making that into a thing. It's your fault, Johnny, how could you? However, some of what they were offering had to be localized, i.e. censored due to harsh content restrictions in the US. Generally, this was due to mild language or sexualized humor. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Heather, from Total Drama. And when I say mild language, I mean changing stupid to stinky, or screwed up to messed up.
So I screwed up.
You screwed up, dude.
So I messed up.
You messed up, dude.
America's weird. What a backwards country. Some of their edits made sense, but it was mostly innocuous stuff like that. However, violence and fart jokes were mostly left unchanged because America. Those are fine. We can roll with that. Terrence and Phillip, strike again, I guess. But, a topless character in Total Drama, strike it down. Which is, hey, it's kind of fair. I can't believe this actually was, going to be a thing in Canadian cartoons. What were you thinking? But the golden age of weird Canadian animation has died down substantially after the late 2010s. And who could be the culprit for this downfall? Take a guess. What do you think it is? Wrong, I'll tell you. It is the rise of YouTube and how it has become a bastion for kids' content online. I say bastion, more like Hades, right? TV viewership has been down substantially across the board. And with it goes the majority of the government funding those original series were reliant on. From 2016 to 2024, government funding for children's programming dropped 35%, from $552 million to $355 million. Their overall animation budget fared even worse, dropping over 47%, from $331 million to $175 million. Unsurprisingly, the losses from this shakeup in the Canadian industry have left some serious damage behind. One of their best-known animation companies, Nelvana, had to stop production in September 2025, instead pivoting to licensing and distribution to stay in business. It was the same company behind classic shows like The Berenstain Bears, Clone High, and the cult classic sci-fi musical Rock and Rule. By the way, if you want the full, complete, wild history of that movie, then go hit up my review. But this large-scale downsizing also led to a lack of Canadian stories being told. Instead, the major animation studios that still exist in Canada make the majority of their money through outsourced projects in the US and overseas. This has been the case for major players like Disney, DreamWorks, and Sony, who will get tax credits from the government for moving productions there. As it stands, the animated TV shows that are still thriving generally have to be tied to a larger merchandising line or media franchise. This really kicked off in the early 2000s, but became necessary for their survival in the 2020s. That's why Paw Patrol blew up, seeing as it's directly produced by the toy company Spin Master. Again, money is king, and the dumb safety dog cartoons must flow. In conclusion, I hate to see the loss of wild ideas being put into Canadian animation. And it sucks to see that impact Canada's once booming industry just as much. I hope that they can turn things around and hit pay dirt with smaller but ambitious ideas once again. They deserve better. And I wish the best of luck to my neighbors up north. We are North America, C for Canada, U for the United States, and M for Mexico. That's right? Oh, I'm not gonna say that out loud, never mind. And for what it's worth, I am working on a video about the Total Drama franchise. That cartoon deserves its own separate topic because it has quite the history plus the fandom. Like, you got fans with their own YouTube channels essentially making their own episodes of Total Drama, but with their own characters. That is wild to me. So expect a Total Drama video in the very near future. Just without the farts. That was horrible. What the fuck were they thinking? But hey folks, those are just my thoughts. What did you all think? Tell me down below in the comments and I'll see you all next time.
Magnolia, please have nice time too.